Hey guys, this is John Corabi from the Dead Daisies, and you are watching Made on Backstage. Turn it up. It's funny, we do this pretty much every night. And I think it's cool. It kind of lets the fans know that, a lot of people call us a super group or all-star band or whatever, but in all honesty, we're just like them. We're still fans of music. So it's just our way to say hello and thank you. But we do it every night. Every night we get done playing, we dry off and go right and do a signing. We used to do it for pretty much anybody in the club, but now we have to limit it to maybe 100 people because a lot of the clubs are like, we want to go home, you know what I mean? So, but we do it every night.
Sometimes musicians don't even realize how much of an impact they have on people. So when you meet with fans and talk with them, does it happen that, for example, someone says that your lyrics, your music have impact on their lives?
It's a little surreal. Because I study other people's lyrics and listen to their music, and it's funny for me to have somebody come to me and say, "Oh, your lyrics changed my life," or "This one song got me through a really hard time." And it's funny to me. It's a blessing. If I was able to impact somebody's life positively, that's awesome. You know what I mean? I just like playing music, and I just, I try to write lyrics that mean something to me. You know what I mean? And if somebody else gets meaning out of it, that's awesome. I meet fans sometimes, and I go to take a photo, and I put my arm around them, and they're just shaking. And I just laugh, and I'm like, this isn't Robert Plant, this isn't Steven Tyler, it's just me, man, But everybody's got their own thing, it's cool.
Is it easy to lose touch with reality when you have some kind of success, when you become more popular and your ego starts to taking over? Do you witness something like this?
I don't know if I've ever had an ego. Even when I was in Motley, I got more pleasure hanging out with the Crue guys than the band. Because the Crue, I didn't understand. I didn't understand some of the things that Motley did. I remember there was a time in the studio when we were recording, and Nicky had a piece of gear, recording equipment, this gear, and he couldn't figure out how to make it work. And he was getting frustrated and angry and angrier and angrier. And he ripped it out of the thing, took it outside, threw it on the pavement, pulled a gun out and shot it. And I remember the producer just turning to me, and he just laughed, and he said, "Well, that's like a $6,000 piece of equipment." And I just sat there and I looked at it, and I'm like, it's just crazy to me. But it was always like that. Do you know what I mean? Even when I joined the band, it was amazing. They bought me a Harley Davidson. That was like $20,000. They just bought it for me. Here you go. And I didn't understand that. And so I don't think I've ever had an attitude or an ego. But it was funny, I had a very valuable lesson after leaving Motley. When Vince came back, I learned the value of when you're in a situation like that, everybody wants to give you things, everybody wants you to come to the party, everybody wants you to, be at their event. And then when it went away, when Vince came back, nobody cared. This is this is not what life is about, you know? So for me, it's always been about, you know, my kids, my family, you know. I don't need a lot of friends, I just need good ones, you know, and even if it's only two, it's fine, you know what I mean? I just need good friends, my family, and just to be able, and health, and my good health. Everything else is irrelevant. I don't worry about it.
Do you remember what pushed you into wanting to become a musician? Was it purely about music, or was it also about rockstar lifestyle?
It was something. It was music, but there was something primal about it. I didn't quite understand it totally. I didn't totally understand it. I just remember seeing the Beatles, old videos of them doing, you know, She Loves You. There was another one of them doing Hello, Goodbye, and then Hey Jude, and you know, a couple of other songs. And I don't know what it was. I was listening to the music and the way they looked, and then the girls in the audience, and there was just this excitement about it. I was truly sitting there going, I don't know what I'm watching right now, but I want to do that. Do you know what I mean? So it was pretty cool. And the Beatles actually, even vocally, Paul McCartney made me want to sing. You know, there was two songs on the Abbey Road record. It was Oh Darling and Golden Slumbers, because he sings very, you know, he's got a very sweet voice in the verses, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, and he gets angry and he has this grit and growl in his voice, and I'm like, same thing. I go, I don't know what I'm hearing, but man, it's powerful, you know what I mean? And that truly made me want to be a musician, you know? And then the lifestyle doesn't suck either, so.
Is it true that at some point you quit your school to get a day job so that you can dedicate yourself to music completely?
Yeah, I never finished high school, which I don't recommend at home, kids. Yeah, I quit maybe 10th grade in high school. In Pennsylvania, where I lived, you were allowed to quit school at 16 if your parents signed, but you had to have a full-time job.
Okay, I see.
So I quit school, my mom signed. I wasn't going anyway. I think the year I quit 10th grade, there was maybe 75% of the year was gone. Like in that 75% of the time, I think I went to school maybe, you know, 20% of that.
Yeah.
I was just out with my friends, listening to music, smoking cigarettes, smoking pot, like, you know. I just didn't go to school. And I just wanted to be a musician. I was growing my hair out, and you know, so my mom said, all right, you're not going anyway. If you're gonna do something, you gotta go get a job. And so I went and I got a job, and then she made me, to teach me the value of $1. She said, go get a job. She signed the paperwork, and then she made me give her money to live in her house. Okay. You know what I mean? Okay, you want to be a man? All right, here's to live in my house. It's, you know, $40 a week or whatever, and I had to pay her every week. And my mom was a little more supportive than my dad. My dad was very.
He's also an artist, right?
I didn't find this out till later.
Yeah.
But my dad was very much about get your education, work, pay your taxes, you know, take money, save it in the bank, you know. He was just very, very proper about a lot of things. And So when I said I wanted to quit school, and then I started growing my hair, and he saw some of my friends that I was hanging with long hair, and he immediately started thinking like, now you got to remember, this is in the 70s, early 70s, and he's going, oh, he's smoking drugs, and he's you know, he's running with this wild crowd, and, you know. So in the beginning, he wasn't very supportive, but later, he was extremely supportive. You know what I mean? So it worked out.
I loved one of the quotes you gave in an interview a few years ago. You said, "To me, people who have the coolest images are the ones who have figured out how to wear their own skin."
I think confidence is somebody that is comfortable with who they are. Like if you're going to a bar and you're sitting there and you're having a drink and these girls come in, you know, one guy's, you know, hey, let me buy you a drink, and he's just he's trying too hard. And then there's a guy that's just sitting there and just quietly sends a couple drinks over. You know what I mean? There's different approaches, and I just feel like a person that is confident isn't always the loudest person in the room. They're very comfortable in their skin, so I think when you are that way, you exude confidence. There's something cool about you. Yeah. I think there's something cool about people that are comfortable with who they are.
Could you say that being on stage can be something that is addictive? It's something that you couldn't live without.
I think if you do this and you truly love doing this, then you can't do anything else. You know, I've tried. I've taken a couple breaks here and there where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna live a normal life. And I was like, you know, I hated it. And there is a bit of a rush, so I totally plan. Now, whether it's with the Daisies or my solo career, or, you know, if there comes a point where I can't play guitar or sing anymore, then I'll be a songwriter. Music is always going to be the thing for me.
You have a very fast pace of working. Revolution was recorded in a little over 30 days, right?
Yes.
And Make Some Noise also?
About 5 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so would you say that there's some kind of amazing creative chemistry between you guys in the studio?
It's just, you know, it's kind of inevitable when you have that many people throwing ideas into the pot. You know, if I sit and I write a song, I could probably write a song myself. I've done it before, you know, but it's just you. You're sitting there and you hit a wall. So you walk away for a little bit, and go get a cup of tea or a beer, and come back, try it again. Maybe it takes days, maybe it's a one day, months sometimes. David plays guitar, Doug plays guitar, Marco. Brian plays amazing guitar. He's a great guitar player. And then even Marty, once Marty gets involved, Marty Fredrickson, he's also a guitar player and a songwriter. So you have all these people in the studio together. If one guy's not, you know, maybe stumped, everybody else jumps in, you know what I mean? So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool.
With this group of talented and experienced musicians, this is like an endless source of inspiration.
Yes, it's like nuclear. Endless source of power.
What is your musical guilty pleasure? Something that your fans would be maybe surprised that you like to listen to?
You know what? I love everything. I think fans would probably laugh if I told them that when I was a kid, I went and I saw live. I saw Frank Sinatra twice. But I like everything. I love, you know, classical music. I love acoustic music. I love rock. I love country. I love rap. I love metal. Some, not all of it, you know, but like back in the 80s, a lot of people used to criticize like bands like Poison. They're like, oh God, they're horrible. Oh, that guy can't sing. Or they you know. And I'm just like, you know, you can't sell that many records without having some sort of substance to it. You know, whether you like the song or you're not, I can hear like, Give Me Something to Believe In. It's a great song. Every Rose Has Its Thorn. It's a great song. There's a chorus. People sing it and they walk away, and 2 hours later they're still singing that chorus. They remember it, and there's something to that. You know, so I don't take a piss out of anybody. I've heard some Taylor Swift songs, and I was like, oh wow, who's this? And they're like, oh, it's Taylor Swift. I'm like, oh, it's pretty good. It's a good song. A good song is a good song.